Hi folks, Tyrone Michael Sky here. I'm here to talk about my favorite picks. I'm doing another video game pick and it's called Super Mario Brothers. It was one of the first franchise that I fell in love with and I played through the 80s. And the cool thing, the new Mario game's coming out. Mario Odyssey comes out October 27th. And I'm pretty excited to play that game too. And through the years, Mario brought me joy and happiness that most games didn't do. It was all about saving the princess and saving her little servant called Toad. Okay, so I want to start with saying one thing, thanks to Nintendo making these games. You know, there's a lot of garbage out there, and these games they made through the years is special, and kids could play it, and that's a good thing because it has a moral tone to it, and most games don't have what Mario has. And when I was a kid, I wanted to be a plumber because of Mario. And when I went to the Vogue and I had to pick a shop, the first one I picked was I wanted to be a plumber. But unfortunately, they came to the school, I was in the Oliver, and they told me I couldn't be a plumber because too many people picked. I was very depressed. I even had tears come through my eyes. But all is good. I just love this. I just love playing Mario games. And I really enjoy them, and I thank Nintendo making these games. Thank you. All right, so my number 5, let's start with number 5. My number 5 pick is Super Mario Brothers 1, of course, and it's came out in 1985, and I used to play that, it was something new and different, of course, because most of the games were kind of, simple. This one was more of a thinking game, and you just went through stomping things, collecting mushrooms, coins. I mean, that was pretty cool doing that. And you could use Luigi and stuff. And the cool thing is you were saving Princess. But every castle you went, they would say, Princess is another castle, and Toad would be there. I thought that was cool. And I used to play this with my father, my brother Randy, Anthony, Vicky, and my mother. The other two weren't there in that time. But I remember my sister Vicky used to play, and my mother used to grab the controller, and used to move the controller with the character Mario. And I'd say, no, you don't have to do that. But that was funny, and I used to get him a bunch of lives on, hitting the turtle shell, and that was cool. But if you had you got too many, you died. And I had some great memories, but that game was awesome. It was, different, and had a great concept of jumping on the pole, conquering a castle, beating, Cooper. It was just a great game. Great game. Okay, my next one is number 4, and it's Super Mario Sunshine. It came out in 2002, and a year after the GameCube, and it's pretty. This was a really good game. It's under the radar for most people. They don't really talk about Mario Sunshine. They don't really think it's that. They think it's good, but they don't think it's that great. But I think it's, for me, I think it's one of the best games. When I play this, I play it pretty. I beat it, of course, and I also got most of the Sunshines. And it was a different concept to it because you were saving these characters from the island and you were cleaning it up. And so they wanted Mario to clean up the island because it was covered with this black stuff, goo. So Mario had this pack and with water, and he'd shoot out and clean it. And it had a nice little moral tone, clean up your city, right? Clean up your town. It was pretty neat. I mean, that's what Mario had. It had a good vibe that most games don't have today. And I hope they keep doing this with Mario, and all, and Nintendo keeps doing this, what they do, because the kids, they need these kind of games because it's a really, really good game to play for kids, and even for grown-ups, because you might learn something. And you should just play this because, to be honest with you, those other games are not even going to be mentioned 20 years, no, let's say 50 years from now, they're gonna be talking about Mario. Mario is always changes. Every game is different. Every game has a different weapon or different gizmo he has or something like that, you know. So, but this game was when you got higher to it, it got tougher and it got challenging, and it had like different ways of beating it, and it was like a puzzle too, you know. To me, it wasn't repetitive, but there's some critics out there. And this game, to me, it's a 10. I know it is, but you know, people will, you know, complain about that it isn't, but it is. It's a masterpiece. All right, I'm gonna go on to the next one, and my number 3 pick is Super Mario 64. It came out in 1996, and I got the system, 64 system, on the release date. And that was, I gotta tell you, that was hard to get that. The cool thing, I didn't have to wait in line like I had to do for the Wii. I got that, and most people couldn't get that system. It took them a long time. I remember people were talking about it and saying, oh, it's always selling out quick. But Mario 64 was the first 3D game that moved really well and had it was a great platformer, it was a great adventure, you know, game, action game to me. But that game was totally different and beautiful and designed, and the graphics were awesome. It just blew your mind away. And Mario was like, you know, me, Mario. It was just awesome. He was talking a little bit too, and then you go inside the castle, you go to each painting, and you beat each level of each painting in there. And inside was beautiful too, and it was different bosses and different levels and stuff like that. It was challenging. I had to get used to the controls too, because I never played that kind of joystick, you know, that kind of controller. I never played a 3D game like that. And that game was, you know, the critics gave it a 9.5 when it should have got a 10, because this game was revolutionized. This game was talked about. It's talked about today, and it was talked about then. I mean, I don't know how they didn't put that as a 10. I mean, they're stupid. I would have put it at a 10, and it is 10 to me. But that game was just super. I mean, you had to go behind Bowser, and you had to you go around and grab his tail and flick him, and every leader you had to do something different too. So it was a great game. That's a really, really good game. Okay, so I'm going to go to my number 2 pick, and this is a really awesome game too. And it was very popular too. It was my number 2 pick is Super Mario Bros. 3, and it came out in 1990. And I was in 7th grade, and I used to walk with some of my friends, and we would talk about Super Mario Brothers, and we talk about that movie, The Wizard. And that movie was only popular because of Mario 3. That's how popular it was, a hit really, because of Mario 3, because everybody wanted to know what was the warp in that game. And that's the reason why I knew it too. But that game was the first Mario game that was different, because you had different costumes. You had this nice raccoon suit. I know it's not called raccoon, but whatever. It turned to a statue, and it paused for like maybe 5 seconds or 6. And you also had, you know, the raccoon tail, and Mario flew up in the sky, and you could jump, you know, fly over the stage. That was awesome. And all the stages were really, really good and challenging and tough. And you had to use the frog suit on the water world and stuff like that. And you had this other one with the little boot, and that was towards the end, and you had to stomp on the guy. And you had, after you beat all the 7 stages, you got to the last one, and you fought Koopa. To me, they were Koopa's kids. You fought each one of them. And each of those airships, were like really, really tough. I mean, the deeper you got into, especially Bowser towards the end. But that game was really, really good and really awesome. And there was one stage I really enjoyed, was the desert stage, because the sun would chase you around the stage to the very end, and you would jump over him so you wouldn't get killed you know, or burned, whatever. And that was just awesome how they did that. I mean, they were so innovative even in that, you know, when they came out with that. So, you know, that's the time too. So that was a masterpiece. I love that game. And I remember the commercials, and they were saying, you know, the commercials used to give me goosebumps. It would say, Mario, 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 Mario. And it would go so loud, you know. And they used to play that like crazy, man. I have fond memories of that. That was an awesome commercial then. Okay, on my next pick, my last pick, my number one is Super Mario Brothers 2. It came out in 1988, and this game was special to me, and it's my number one. It's my favorite one, and I really love this game. It's different than all the Mario games, and I'll tell you why. Because you got to play not just Mario and Luigi, you got to play Princess, and you also got to play Toad, and they all had different attributes. Mario was good in everything, basically, but he was he was number 2 on fast, and he was number 2 on jumping, and he was number 2 at picking up things. But the cool thing is that Luigi could jump, so he could jump the highest. And in Princess, she could float, glide like Jordan, you know. She could glide the longest, and that was cool. And then Toad was fast of running and picking up those vegetables, and I enjoyed playing with Toad and Princess Peach and Mario and Luigi, and I would play it through. I mean, and I knew all the warps too. Me and my cousin, we used to play that together a lot, and we used to play the, you know, after you beat the stage, you would play this, you know, gambling machine thing, and you would get all these. If you got all the cherries, you got 5 lives, and we got a lot of guys doing that, and we had a system, and we nailed it pretty good at playing that game. I really enjoyed Mario 2, and the stages were like really different and unique, like, you know, like most Mario games, but that one hits me more because the leaders were different too. I mean, not Bowser, Mouser was in it, and you fought him twice, and you had to fight the 3-headed snakes, and you had to fight the crab. I love fighting the crab. He was in the 5th stage, and I liked the fry guy. You know, he was a big fireball, and he was pretty tough too. I think it was probably him and the crab guy were like the 2 toughest leaders in that game, and so was War. I mean, War was tough, and I love fighting War too. And the other thing that was special about that game, that you went on a little rocket and you fly up to another spot of the level of the game and stuff. And you know, you had to get the key, and you had to run with the key and jump on top of, you know, the sand piles each, you know, level, and the Phantom would chase you and stuff. There was a lot of good concepts, and the coloration of that game was beautiful. You know, it was a beautiful game. That game is special, and it's my number one pick, and it's a masterpiece. And I just want to say I love all these games, and I can't wait to play the new one. And every Mario game has a special thing about them, and but these for me are my favorites Mario games. And I hope you like this rendition of my picks, my 5 picks of Super Mario Brothers, and I hope you enjoy this segment of my picks. And I want to wish you a good day and a good night, and hope to see you next time in the next video. Later, folks.